What's up, fam? Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lariello, and today we're going to dive into a super fun and exciting episode I've been wanting to do for a really long time. Nick Tusa, one of my best friends, one of my training partners, and one of the best up-and-coming trail runners in the country right now, joined me on the podcast to chat all things trail running free agency. There is the hot takes we provide. There is the good stuff. There's just a lot of information. This is a jam-packed episode with tons of information on some of the best sub-ultra and ultra free agency moves of 2025. I hope you guys enjoy this one. There is a lot of hot takes, so reserve your frustrations or whatnot. Send me a DM on Instagram if you don't agree. I'm very curious to see what you guys think about some of these. I love doing these types of episodes where it's not just necessarily a one-on-one interview, but it's more so just commentating and talking about some of the athletes in our sport and just some of the biggest free agency moves. This is something I think we're going to start doing more of and have more discussions of as we go through 2025 and into 2026, is definitely commentating and having more episodes like this. So without further ado, really want to thank Nick for coming on to have this conversation with me. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Here we go. Buckle up.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
People, Earth, listen up. The Steep Stuff Podcast is brought to you by Ultimate Direction USA. I am so excited to be partnering with Ultimate Direction in 2025 as the official hydration solutions partner for the Steep Stuff Podcast. Lots of fun things coming down the pike for this year. Ultimate Direction is going to be unveiling a brand new race and ultra vest that's going to be dropping in the next couple of months. So excited to bring that to you guys. If you are in the market right now for apparel, for a belt, for a new pack, anything hydration solutions related, flasks, you name it, they've got it. They've got you covered. If you hop on to ultimatedirection.com and use code STEEPSTUFFPOD, that's one word, STEEP, STEEP, STUFF, STUFF, POD. If you hop on to ultimatedirection.com and use that code, that's going to get you 25% off your cart. Especially that we're starting to wind our way a little bit more closer to spring. You guys are going to be start to put together your race calendars, and Ultimate Direction's going to have you guys covered. So whatever you need, they've got you outfitted from head almost to toe. They don't do shoes yet. So guys, enjoy yourself. Have a great rest of your week. Thanks so much, and check out Ultimate Direction. Nick Tusa, welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. How are you, man?
Incredible, man. It's great to be here. It's great to be back.
It's good to see you, dude. It's been a few months.
Yeah.
Has it? Yeah.
About 2 months, I think. Yeah. Since we last ran.
Yeah, we just came back from a nice run. I'm probably mispronouncing words because I'm missing some brain cells. It was dope. It was a fun one.
It was a great one. Yeah. First time on Rampart. Nice little course preview of upcoming race, hopefully in May for the 24K, and
little Ramparty action, dude.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's a good spot. Great training spot here in the Springs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's dude. I have to say, like, early season, like, it's been nice and warm. Today was just like, I don't know, to me, like the absolute perfect training run, like a little steady state going up, nice and float going down. We chatted it up and talked and just got, back into the swing of things. And yeah, it's nice to, it's a little weird that the weather's been so warm, but I'll take it, man.
Oh, no, we take it where we can get it here.
Yeah, it's so warm. Like I actually got, like, I'm a little toasty. I got salt all over me. It's a good day, dude. So what's new, dude? I know you're starting to put together the schedule for 2025. I know there's some exciting, like, little little rust burner races, if you will. Maybe talk about those and then let's get into the main part of the schedule.
Yeah. It's been a good month and a half or so of training into the new year, and hoping to get another month and a half under the belt here before I get a little rust buster race in. First one I'm going to be doing is one of the Air Viper races, Rock Hawk 25K. Just to see, I've never done a super fast 25K, so I'm really curious to see what the legs can do on something that's, fast and flat. For the most part, I think it's 1,600 feet of gain or so.
Oh, wow.
And then the following month, like we said, coming down here, hopefully I'll probably stay here for a night, and we'll get a little ramp party action in for the 24K and then see what we can do there. And that'll kind of be the lead into kind of the big one for me for the first half of the season. I'm kind of splitting the seasons into two. And that will be at Finn's race. He invited me out to do the Twisted Fork 30K.
Fuck yeah.
And yeah, super excited. Haven't really been out to that area of Utah and Park City. And it's just a classic kind of up down 18 miler with 2,000 feet of vert. I know he mentioned on the pod that there's going to be a lot of names there, and I'm excited to throw down with some big guys and see what we can do heading into the mountain season. I'm kind of switching up how I've been doing things and running a lot flatter stuff, and with these trail races too being a little bit more Americanized races, flat and fast. I'm curious what the fitness will be like heading into Pikes in September, and we'll see. I don't know what the plan is for the summer yet, but like I said, I think last time I was on the pod, just getting up high as much as I possibly can this summer will be the goal again. Putting down some good times on some 14ers, using that fitness, and we'll see what we can do. I'm super excited to train for Pikes. Seeing out the window here today, looking at Pikes, it gets me so excited. It's such a legendary race, and listening to your pods that you've had recently about the history of the race, it just even gets me more excited. Just so much history, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Dude,
it's crazy, man. I love Pikes Peak. I mean, I'm a little biased now because, I think I have to promote it a little bit, but it's in my backyard. It's, it's deeply ingrained into our community, one of the things I really enjoyed is and especially getting you down here, coming down from the greater Denver area, it's no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing in this area, you could be at Red Rocks open space. You could be today, we did a nice long run on Rampart. You could be, you could anywhere. It doesn't matter. You could be on the incline. You look up, right? And you're just always reminded by this 8,000 elevation behemoth that's on top of you, basically, which is that Pikes Peak, that big mountain. So yeah, dude, I'm excited for September. It's going to be a nice barn burner race. We're putting together a really solid elite field so far. I'm stoked for you to come join it. It's going to be crazy. And dude, it's going to be wide open. Things are going to be a little shaken up this year. I mean, listen, I'm not going to say for sure, we don't know what's going to happen at Broken Arrow for the up down with Worlds for the Ascent and some other things with Worlds. But that said, in that time frame is Worlds. So, if Joe qualifies, he's not going to be there. I would imagine, I don't want to speak for him, but I'm going to say we know what he would do. And I could speak for a lot of others, if they qualify and they're going over there, which means, there's going to be some holes in the calendar. And I think it's going to create a lot more opportunities. We might have a new Ascent champion, another new Ascent champion this year. So it's going to be interesting, man. I'm excited. So yeah. All right, so we could talk about why we're here today. Other than catching up and just having a boys run out and Rampart, we're here to talk about free agency. I think that was something that we really needed to bring up, I think, in our space, and it wasn't really talked about. I know some podcasts had maybe chatted more about, some free agency topics, but no one had done a comprehensive, especially in the sub ultra scene, a free agency podcast. I was dude, we're covering the sport. We got to talk about free agency. I'm curious on your end. I mean, obviously I've got a bunch of talking points, but were there any headlines in free agency so far? And now that we're especially in March 1st, we're recording this, that stuck out to you that you're you know what, this was a huge move. I'm so blown away. I think a few of them might've been Joyce Nauru going to normal. I think a lot of people departing Merrill and, Brooks. I think Brooks investment is a big thing we need to talk about. I think there's some other points there as well. And we'll get into names as well as what happened with Salomon. Salomon just like completely cleared house on a lot of their athletes this year. And I think it deserves some conversation there because, there's some first ballot Hall of Famers that, are no longer running with them and are still looking for a home. So yeah, I think there's a lot there. What pops out to you, dude?
Yeah, I'm just looking through the list here, and I know we talked earlier on our run about Remy, Leroux going to Brooks. I think that's going to be exciting. I think that's going to leave him to hopefully do some races that he hasn't done and maybe travel a little bit more, maybe get overseas, and as well, same with Taylor Stack.
Yeah, big fan of Taylor Stack.
Yeah, going from a free agent to Brooks, that's massive. And again, yeah, I think he's going to be able to get overseas and really get his name out there in like the Euro scene. And as like we said, Joyce Nauru, that's probably the most exciting one considering she is, cream of the crop in the sport right now. Now with Normal behind her, I mean that's going to be one of Normal's probably best. I mean, behind Killian like that, she's probably her and then
Alazine, yeah.
I mean, they're going to be running the show at Golden Trail this year. I really think so.
Well, let's talk about that. I think that's a great topic to dive into first is like Normal. Obviously, it's no surprise that Ali Estrander had departed. That's another free agency move that we can talk about as we kind of get deeper into the episode. But I think the signing of Joyce Nauru is a huge deal. And I'll give it for one reason is that if you guys want to double back to my episode with Joe Gray, he was very candid with maybe some of the contracts that gentlemen like Philemon and Patrick Kipniego are on. And it's a little bit different for some Kenyan runners. I know that a lot of times, and I don't want to speak for everyone because that's not fair, but I know a lot of times that you'll have a manager that comes in there and will broker their deal for you. And you might not be getting the cut of money that you probably would if you were maybe stateside or maybe Euro. And some of these gentlemen and ladies are amongst the best in the world. I mean, Joyce Nauru arguably is one of the best, if not the best uphill female runner in the world right now. So it was exciting for me to see Normal kind of come in and pick her up. I think my only hope to that is that she'll have the resources now to go. I mean, she's already proved she's one of the best in the world. Now she's the resources to go back that up and she can go, train in areas that she wants to train. Maybe it'll help with training. It'll help with nutrition. It'll help with just a gazillion different things for more resources around you. Travel, anytime you can alleviate stress. I think that's one big thing too, is anytime you can alleviate a lot of variables and stresses. And that's a big thing that partners will help with. And I think it'll just continue to, just bolster her career. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes and wins the Golden Trail Series again. We didn't see a ton of people push up against her, if you will. I mean, there was good competition there, but Joyce is very dominant. And one of my favorite people to follow in the sport. So yeah, I can't sing those praises enough. So kudos to Normal and Killian and company for going to get her. Yeah, what do you think? I mean, this is going to be year 2 for El Hussein as well. Yeah. So what do you think? You think he repeats, dude?
He's going to get or close to it. I mean, he's going to be first or second in my opinion. I don't see any doubt that he wouldn't be. Yeah, if he just does what he did again, I don't know if there's anybody else in Golden Trail that can reach up to his level that I'm just trying to think of right now. I mean, just having the experience too. I don't know. I think he's the new Killian, in a sense, just on the Golden Trail side of things. Yeah. I don't know if I see anybody competing with him, to be honest.
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I wonder if Remy Bonnet's it's going to be interesting to see, because I've talked to so many ski mountaineers and ones that play on the trail side. Cam is a great example. Cam is going to compete at the U.S. Mountain Running Champs, and I think he might be at both Broken Arrow and a Sunapee. So he's one of those guys that goes out there and any place, anywhere, anytime, Cam's going to throw down. That's why he's my favorite person in the sport. But there's a lot of athletes that might be more schemo focused this year. Remy Bonnet is a great example. Is he going to be with his eyes on the Olympics? I don't know what that Swiss team looks like, especially for the sprint and the mixed relay. What is he going to be thinking? So he might not be as committed to this season.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Remy's ever run Worlds. And I don't think he'll do it this year, which is odd to me. I don't know. That brings up a whole nother conversation that I don't want to talk about on this podcast. But I wonder why he hasn't, and I wonder if it's maybe too early in the season last time around and maybe too late this time around. I have no idea. I can't speak for him. I have no idea.
I feel like that's what a lot of it is with the world. I feel like the time of year is tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Wasn't that last one? What time of year was that? Was the last
That was
one?
in June. That was at
see,
Innsbruck.
Yeah, that was really tough. I'm glad that they moved it out. Hopefully this year that benefits some people, but I know there's going to be some people that, hit it hard too early maybe, and they're just like, okay, I cannot push the season out to then.
And I got to say, man, I do have to give kudos to Golden Trail for understanding that, like, hey, because like the Skyrunner series did not do this, and a lot of series, most of the big name series other than Golden Trail didn't do this. They didn't like alter their season to make sure they can capture the best athletes possible, because they'll end the season with series and all, which is the end of August. So that's when Golden Trail's over. And then obviously they'll have their final after Worlds, which is going to be in, I think, October time. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And I can give them kudos for doing that. But yeah, I kind of went on a side quest there, but like my thought was originally with like, is anybody going to challenge Al Hussein for the male dominance? I don't see Francesco doing it. No offense to him. I know he's kind of dabbling more in the ultra stuff.
Yep.
Bart's kind of departed as well.
He's always up there. I mean,
yeah.
the same guys are probably going to be up there, but like you said, is it just getting to that next level? It's
because Al Hussein kind of played the game for a long time. He is opening up his season in the next couple weeks with Killian. It's the Chianti race. I know there's like a 25K or 20K or something that he's going to be doing at that Chianti race in Tuscany. So that's dope. But Killian obviously will be vying for his spot into, Western states.
Fingers crossed.
I don't want to go too crazy in that because that's ultra world, but like, what the hell do you think about that? If we get Jim and David Roche, it's like Hayden Hawks, and like Hayden, I think to me is like one of the most slept on. Dude is world-class ultra runner of the year.
What's his name? Who just won Tarawera?
Caleb Olson.
No. He won trans.
Or not Tarawera. I'm sorry, Dan Jones.
Yep, Dan Jones too.
Dan Jones
and
Caleb Olson.
Well,
who just won? I think it was Trans Gran Canaria. Dude,
Yep.
Yeah, there's some dudes showing up, and the women's race is wide open too. I'm so curious as to what that women's race is going to look like.
This is the greatest Western States ever.
Not that it ever wasn't, but my God, this is all right. So I'm going to put this out throw this out there to the world. Whoever's listening, there needs to be an Unbreakable 2 this year.
Oh yeah,
and I think just let's give a de facto spot to Anton just for fun, just to mix it up, and maybe Hal as well, just to throw an old guy in there. Like
I mean, honestly, who could do it with what David Roche has been putting together with that? I believe his name is Cody Bear, that new up and coming filmer. Like, hey, dude, that's your. I mean, he's already gotten an opportunity, but that's like a big opportunity to put together some film that could like bring the sport to like even a new level, and have these new kids in like 10 years going back and watching that, just like we've went back and watched Unbreakable so many times.
And last year was a breakthrough year. So many guys ran under 15 hours. The thing I will say though is like David's playing with fire. David's either going to massively like shock the hell out of the world. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's shock the world at this point because David's so good.
Yep.
But like his training, dude, he's in control, man. I mean, he's either going to show up really tired or he's going to show up really, really fit and not so tired. I don't know. Like one of the two.
It sounds like he's praying that the high country, there's no snow in the high country. If there is, I don't know. He seems scared about that. So we'll see. I don't know. It's really going to be very much dependent on the weather. We'll see. If it is like perfect conditions, I mean, the course record is going down without a doubt, 100%. I would.
You think
put
so?
All my money
even if it's a hot year?
No, if it's like just like a normal-ish year, if it's like extremely hot, they might get close. If there's snow in the high country, I don't think it happens.
It's gonna be so fun to follow. See. Yeah. All right. Back to sub ultra. So one of the talking points that I had was brand moves and investments that stuck out the most. And one of the things I have to think, there's two brands to me that stuck out the most this year, and that was going to be Brooks on the sub ultra space. And I'd say mixed sub ultra and ultra space was Kraft as well. I think Kraft made a bunch of new signings. And I do want to shout out some of the athletes. I mean, Brooks just absolutely just like, dude, I mean, if you look at some of their signings, I've got it like literally listed here too. There we go. Thank you, Free Trail, for making this really nice thing that I can use to track signings here. Hoka made some serious signings as well, but like
Chris Myers, who's on the ultra side, and big shout out to Remy Leroux. I just had him on the podcast, and I can't like sing his praises enough. The guy is a consummate professional, absolutely one of the best Canadian runners right now, and one of the best uphill runners in the world. I know he really like, it was cool. The podcast was like, he really enjoyed the one with Joe. And he just like really talked about Joe a lot. And I was like, that's really interesting. That's like, awesome. I love guys coming into the sport now. They're like, that's their hero is like Andy and Joe. Yeah. Dude, some other names, like how about Anthony Felber leaving Cetus Matrix and going to Brooks? Brooks got him. Taylor Stack, who's a friend of the podcast. He's been on already. Taylor's partner, Sydney. Do want to give a shout out to Sydney Peterson, who's had some fucking awesome results at Broken Arrow. She's going to be coming on in the next few weeks to talk about that. Awesome. Barrett Gray as well. Christina Randup went to Brooks. Brooks like made some serious investment. It's just so many athletes that they picked up on. And I think like they're one of the few brands that I think sees the writing on the wall. Like there is a significant investment here in sub ultra, and they picked up more sub ultra athletes. I mean, dude, they've got Mika, they've got Dan Kurtz. Dan Kurtz is both two monsters. Like their sub ultra team is getting like nasty. And then I think, what is it? Roberto Di Lorenzi is on the Brooks team too. Like you forget about the Euro side. So yeah, I think there was some huge new signings here, and I'm looking forward to seeing these athletes perform.
And it definitely seems like too they're not just American centric or Eurocentric. It really seems like they're very, very balanced because like you see people on like the Sky Running series rocking Brooks, and as well as the Golden Trail, and as well as here in the States. So that's awesome to see that they're like reaching out to like the world. Yeah.
Let's talk David Sinclair going to Craft.
Oh yeah.
Our man, our myth, our legend. Like I have to be honest with you, I sing his praises every time he's on the podcast. David is one of the best in the world, easily. Finally has a home now. I know he dabbled with Salomon for maybe a year or two. I'm not sure like what that partnership looked like. And then he kind of moved on to be unsponsored, continued to crush everybody in every field that he did. And then had a year last year that was just like one for the record books. I think he again found himself in one of the ultra runners of the year rankings. Actually probably two of them. And then dominated on the sub ultra side as well. So yeah, David is unique. What he did at JFK was absolutely legendary. And it's just interesting to see him find a home. I would have not picked Craft for him.
No,
it's just like, it's a different fit. I think it's awesome because he's on the ski side as well. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Craft is a Swedish company. They do make ski apparel as well. And their running shoes are awesome. So no shade to them, but it's like their sub ultra side, like is MK. Like see, like MK is kind of a Swiss Army knife. True. Dabbles back and forth, and then there's people that are more so just embedded in the ultra side.
That's true.
David kind of does both and is a world-class skier. So it's going to be, I'm surprised. I would have seen him going somewhere else, but like I hope Kraft threw the fucking bag at him, dude.
No. Has he raced over in Europe, overseas at all, or has he stayed pretty much?
No, he's raced in Europe.
Oh, he has. Okay.
He's done. I know a ton of racing on the Euro side for skiing, but on the running side, I remember when he was with Salomon, he did that. Ola Delay. I forget.
Okay.
Do you remember that? There was a race in Spain a few years ago. It was this Golden Trail Series race in Spain.
Okay.
Ola de something that I can't pronounce that I should know. Yeah.
My assumption is with Craft, maybe they offer the most travel budget, maybe, or something potentially. I could totally see him targeting OCC, I would imagine. Or
yeah, I think he qualified. So? He might have got it. I think he qualified with Speed Goat. Okay. I can't remember if he told me it was CCC or OCC that he was going to do. Yeah,
because jump up to 100. I mean, I guess if he just did a 50 miler, yeah. I mean,
I just, you know what I want? I want more David Sinclair Eli rematches in my life. That's what I want to see. Is more of that.
Is Eli going back to
OCC? I have no idea. I don't know. We gotta ask him. What'd you think of Grant Barnett going to Craft? I think that was a great pickup as well.
Yeah.
He's somebody both. I mean, he's more ultra centric, if you will, but also pretty much does some sub ultra stuff.
Because he was unsponsored before, right? Or
he was with Dynafit.
Okay.
He was with Dynafit up until 2 years ago. Yep. Departed Dynafit and was a free agent. See, this is really interesting to me. You don't see the interesting thing is that like with athlete contracts, you'll see people be professionals and then usually go from contract to contract. It's very rare to see someone go from contract to no contract and then back to contract. It's like, I don't know how brands view these things. Next time we do one of these free agency episodes, I'd love to have like a brand person in here to be able to talk about that.
Yeah.
And the way they make these decisions. But I think that was great. I'm trying to think of some notable women on the craft side. I don't think they signed any. I'm not seeing any, at least on the women's side for craft, which is interesting. We could talk about Hoka because I think Hoka made some serious signings. Yeah. And I do want to talk about this. And this is no shade at Francesco Pupi, but I'm just curious to see like what you thought about Francesco going from Nike Trail and moving to Hoka.
Yeah. I personally didn't agree with his reasoning as to why, but I mean, I'm not him. And that's, if that's what he sees Nike as and something he doesn't want to affiliate himself with, I guess I understand that. But I don't think that should be a reason you should leave a brand, especially a brand that like has supported him for so long.
I agree.
I almost feel like a lot of times you see it as kind of like the opposite, where like the brand turns your back on you, where it seems like he kind of turned his back on the brand. He is, a very much a public figure in this sport, and a lot of people know who he is. And so maybe this was a way for him to like make a statement or something. I don't know. I mean, I know he made a post about it, but I don't know if he's like dug any deeper into it as much.
And I can link this in the show notes. I would challenge anybody that's interested in the subject, because don't just read what he wrote on Instagram. Like, go watch the Nike commercial for yourself. Like, even I showed it to my wife, and she was like, that's not what I took away from it. Like, I showed it to a lot of people, and I sent it to you because you were the first person. You and I talk about this stuff all the time. I was like, dude,
so cool.
Yeah, I thought it was an awesome commercial.
Yeah. But that's Nike.
We're also competitors,
right?
I don't know what he thinks like.
Right. But that is just Nike. That is what Nike has been since the 70s. Like, they have never changed. They've always been that like win-centric brand. And yeah, I don't know.
All right, this is going to be the hottest take I've ever had on this podcast. It's coming. Here we go. I think to me, it wasn't frustrating because, listen, I don't ever want to. I don't ever want to take away from someone's personal experience, but it seemed to me like give me some like it wasn't what he wrote on Instagram. It was what he wrote on Substack after the fact, which I sent you, and it was something along the lines of like, hey, like, I can't believe nobody wants to cover this. Like, I'll go on your podcast. Like, it was very much a cry for attention, and we're talking about it. So hey, you did something right.
Yeah,
but it's like, dude, do you know how many fucking people want that spot from Nike to go, you know what? Like, and it's not just about like, yes, I guarantee, like, you want to have, like, you want to be secure in the brand that you're representing, because you're representing their products, and they're also helping you get to the races and do the things that you want to. So it's a symbiotic relationship. It goes back and forth. This is external of money, but like at the same time, he bit the hand a little bit. And it's like, I'm all for you standing up for what you believe in. I think you totally should. But it was what he said on Substack after that I was like, bro, are you just trying to get on podcasts to just talk about it? Like, go on your own and fucking talk shit. Like, if that's what you're gonna do.
And maybe with the position he is in, and to be fair, he earned everything he has. He's worked his butt off. And maybe he felt like he was in a spot of quote unquote privilege, maybe, where he's just like, I can get away with doing this, and another brand is going to pick me up right away. Like, I just know that's going to happen.
Do you think he had the Hoka contract signed before he?
100%. Maybe, yeah.
100%.
But I'm curious too if like maybe there's more on the back end that we didn't see with Nike that
it's possible
was coming up to that, and he just felt like, well, I'm just gonna like kick the can here and just like might as well.
Well, the thing is like, dude, you see, listen, like I'm personally happy that like they've invested more in their diversity, like with more women. Like, I think there's so many women crushers out there that like absolutely like I'm so happy they got like it was Erin Clark got picked up. Bailey runs for them now. Like there's Bailey Kowalczyk, who's, follow her. She's amazing. You got to race her last year. Dude, absolute crusher. Like, so many crusher women. And then there's men on the side too, like Tyler. And Tyler's a really well-respected, good dude. And I have something like, my thought on it was like, would Tyler run for them? Like, he's a dad. He's, like he's a family man. And like, I don't know, I've only interacted with Tyler a handful of times. Like I was like at Cirque Alta when Rachel raced there last year. I talked to him for a couple seconds, but just even came across like a normal dude. And my thought was like, this guy has like high standards and high morals. Like if Nike was truly a piece of shit, like he wouldn't run for them, you know, like, and I that's kind of my takeaway from it. I can't speak for the way things are conducted on the European side, but it just seems to me like everybody I've interacted with on the American side seem, as of now I can't speak for the past because I understand like there was some different contract discussions in the past with how things used to be because they are a huge brand and there wasn't as much investment oriented toward it. But now, things have changed. Like, I don't know. Like, for instance, dude, one of their boys, Caleb, just won Trans Gran Canaria. He seems pretty happy.
Massive.
So, yeah, I don't know. And this is nothing to take away from Francesco. I think he's an extremely well-liked person in the community. So I probably shouldn't talk shit. But to me, that Substack post that he put up really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I was just like, yeah, what are we doing here? So totally I don't know. Let's move on from that. And like I said, I'll link it in the show notes. I really would challenge anybody to go watch the Nike commercial. I'm so curious to see what you guys think about it. Competition, while the key to our sport is sportsmanship, we absolutely need that. It's like one of the most important pillars, if not the competition is just as important in my opinion. And I think that's a huge part of it. So, okay, one thing I do want to double back to, because I did kind of go deep into Brooks and we kind of named their new team lineup. We talked about Sydney Peterson, Taylor Stack, Remy, Leroux. They just joined like an already stacked group. Does that make Brooks the best sub-ultra trail team on the planet right now? And Mika.
Ooh. I think...
Wait, is Anna Gibson? Anna Gibson's on Brooks too.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the best trail team on the planet right now.
Yeah.
Roberto De Lorenzi?
I would say it's them, and I mean, I still have to give Salomon its flowers a little bit.
That's where we're going. I baited you on that question.
Yeah,
that's where we're going.
Yeah, honestly, it might be Salomon versus Brooks. That might be like that should be like the big thing this year. Yeah. Battle of the brands. I think it's those two.
I think it is those two. I'm going to have Dan comes on Monday, Dan Kurtz, and I'm so excited to chat with him because he's got high ideals on sub ultra. He wants to build this. That's somebody I'm truly stoked on, and he's a Brooks guy. So, and Mika blew me away. I met him at Pike's Ascent, and you want to talk about someone that gave he passed out when he got to the finish line, gave 110%. And then I asked him what is your, before the race when I did the elite panel, I was like, yo dude, what's your key to victory here? Like, what do you think? How are you going to get Joe? Or how are you going to, fend off Seth? And I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was by far the most professional thing I've ever heard out of a runner. Yeah, that guy is legit, very consummate professional. So, it's just crazy. These track guys and gals at a high level just keep coming in. And dude, Anna Gibson, that's someone I really want to have a conversation with. And, if she gets wind of this, let's do a podcast, because
that would be awesome.
That's another person I really look up to in the sport and want to have on.
No, she's the next one for sure.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Crusher. Yeah. All right. So that leads me to the next conversation of Salomon. So we got through Brooks. In my opinion, I think they're unbeatable right now. What the fuck happened with Salomon? They literally did this, they got rid of their entire American contingent. Darren Thomas doesn't have a home right now. He's a wide open free agent. First ballot Hall of Famer Andy Wacker got dropped this year or is no longer running with them. I don't know what those conversations look like on the back end. But it's just crazy to me to see. Oh, Chris Myers is another one. He's a Boulder boy.
Yeah.
How many folks on the Salomon side no longer have a home? I think that's a bit egregious to say no longer have a home, but they're sponsorless. I think that's probably the right way to say.
Well, he got picked up by, or Chris got picked up by.
Chris went to Brooks. Obviously, he was able to figure it out. Yep. But Andy Wacker is the dude. And this is not taking anything away from Darren. I have a Darren rant loaded up for later. But Andy Wacker, first ballot Hall of Famer. I saw he kind of posted some he was trying some Arc'teryx shoes, just trying some different things out. Yeah. But I know we talked about this offline before the podcast, and I think your perspective was really good on what you had said. I'll let you take that away.
Yeah. I think it's a shame that that Salomon or another brand didn't give him an opportunity similar to maybe a Corinne Malcolm and get him on the payroll and give him a position on the brand to facilitate these he'd be the perfect person to facilitate these brand to athlete interactions and just kind of be that middleman. And for somebody not to do that, and somebody that has been in this space and basically watched sub ultra from its infancy in the US till now, and to be he's what, 30, 35, 36 now or something like that. Yeah. For that not to happen, it's kind of sad to see. It sucks that, he was with Nike for so long, and then he was with Salomon for a bit, and for them just to dump him, for all that he's done for especially, local here in Colorado, what he's done with the trail team and what he's done to bring people into this sport. He could do the same thing for a brand. He could bring in so much talent. He sees talent like no other. Like, that dude is a talent scout. For the ages. What he's been doing these last couple of years has been incredible. The eye that he has. So it's really unfortunate. I hope he gets, maybe this year will be a little slower, and maybe he'll focus more on the trail team. I don't know what he does out for his like professional career side of things.
He used to be a teacher. I don't think he's a teacher anymore. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So, maybe that could be a big thing. Maybe he's more focused on that site, and that takes up too much of his time. So I guess I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't show interest in that. I don't know. But if he does hear this, I would tell him you should really try to reach out and pitch yourself for something like that, because you would be an absolute perfect fit for it.
Oh yeah, dude. Like an internal, I know an athlete manager would be a great one, but dude, think about the first class of the trail team that he brought in. You're talking Anna Gibson, Christian Allen, it was Anna Gibson, Christian Allen, Mika. Lauren Gregory. Okay, there's 4.
Oh.
There's one more that I'm missing that I'm not thinking of. But you're talking the 4 or 5 of the biggest names in the sport right now. All first ballot rookie of the year nominees easily. So, and then even this year, dude, Cade Michael. Oh my God. It's nasty. So many good athletes. And then Remy Leroux. I didn't know this until I looked it up for our podcast the other day. Remy was on the trail team this past year. And he's another just absolute straight, one of the best uphill runners you're ever going to find.
I'm so excited who he finds this year, because it's going to be, I'm just excited for this new crop, because I'm sure there's people right now that we have absolutely no idea, and we're going to be talking about in about 8 months as the next coming.
I know the selections have been made, because I think we're going to do I don't want to say an announcement, but we're going to do interviews with the new folks.
Awesome.
As we're going to in the pipeline there. But I know people, I want to say, I don't know if selections have final. So I know at least 1 or 2 rounds have been told no. So people have gotten rejections. So I'm guessing that the final selections have been made. So I know it's going to be announced pretty soon. Okay. So the other one I wanted to talk about was, so we got through Salomon a little bit. So I just want to point out, dude, they dropped, combined with North American and European, they dropped 10 athletes that are gone off that team. I wouldn't say dropped, because I don't know what those contract solutions dissolutions look like. It could have been just people saying they're not going to, some of them not re-upping, but I know on the American side, a good amount of them were, we're going to discontinue this and move on. It's crazy that Max King, I'm so happy he does still have a home there. I'd say, is he the only besides a few others? Yeah, I don't know. So it's crazy. Another interesting thing that was funny, if 3 of the 4 departing Hoka athletes went to Craft. The other one, I think, trying to with Saucony or whatnot. But yeah, a lot of Hoka athletes moved over to Craft. Craft's got a good eye, I guess. They're kind of picking off the Hoka athletes. It started with the Tim Tollefson thing.
That must be a little bridge. Interesting.
The other thing I'd written down was Ollie Ostrander, who we were talking about in normal. And the one thing I will say is I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to understand more of those conversations, just because it seemed like there was kind of no love lost between the two. Mm-hmm.
I think she had her mind made up. I think she, based off what I've seen or heard, I think she just very much wanted freedom and didn't want to be dictated maybe by a brand, and maybe she felt normal was pushing her in a direction she wasn't ready to go. But yeah, I was surprised to see that another brand didn't pick her up.
Ostley. So Ostley got her.
Well, I guess more of a shoe related. Maybe again that went to the decision. Maybe she wanted freedom of shoes as well, because she's racing, maybe track, road, and trail, and it's just probably pretty tough to find a brand that aligns with all of those, but they are out there. And maybe I don't know, maybe Nike didn't want, I don't know.
I don't think, I mean, like, if I'm going to be completely transparent, I don't think it was a great brand fit in the beginning, like for either parties, in my opinion, just because like this is an athlete that focuses so much on the track and also on the trail. And I think maybe the idea going in was like, this is a former Mount Marathon winner who just has all of the ability in the world, which is true. She's world class.
Do you think too, maybe it had something to do? I mean, she does have a pretty large following on YouTube as well. Yeah. And with Normal being a new brand, maybe that was an opportunity to get it in front of different eyes and more people. I don't know. Cause she has a large brand, a large following on YouTube, and maybe that was a way for them to push Normal out. Could be. I don't know the reasoning behind it. So.
Listen, I reached out for both a podcast conversation and comment, and I got neither back. So I'm going to have to just dot my T's and kind of draw the lines around it. I don't know. Like I said, it just seemed like, they unfollowed her. It seemed a little weird. And I was like, oh man, like what goes on there? And just the fact that, like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings. I feel like especially after a couple of years or however, I think she was like 2 or 3 years she was on that contract, and then to like move on to go to a different brand. Like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Like Normal, especially for her, that was not her first professional contract, first professional trail contract. It seems like most people usually are like, oh, well, thanks so much for the time, or thanks so much for this or that. So, and there was none of that. So I would love to just hear like what went down there. But hey, you know what? Like, you live and you learn. Sometimes there are things that are not good fits, and some things are.
No, I hope she kills it this season. I hope she does exactly what she wants to do.
Oh, dude, she's a killer.
We'll see. Yeah.
I know she finally started putting it together last year, like with the Golden Trail Series. She had a couple good races there. I know she was at Mammoth, and she did the double between Mammoth and Mammoth and Headlands. Sorry, my dog is crying in the background. I don't know. Interesting. All right, so let's move on from that. I do want to go to Terex, because Terex had some huge movements this year. 4 of their biggest stars, including Tom Evans, and we could talk a little on the ultra side too for this, because it's kind of encompasses both, but 4 of their biggest stars left, including Tom Evans is the guy. Obviously, the departure of, why am I blanking on her name? Corinne Malcolm. Jesus. Yep. The departure of Corinne Malcolm, I think, was a really big deal as well, just because she does so much both on the media side and there's a lot of discussion there. She's a big name in the sport. She's a very well-liked person in the sport. I know you can add more commentary to this, because you actually gave me more information on this today as far as the Corinne situation, like with going to Hoka. Like, what was that all about? I think there was more to it.
Yeah. So to me, what I saw was she worked with Hoka so much on the UTMB side of things with Dylan, doing the announcing and stuff for the past couple of years now. And I'm sure there was a relationship built there, and it sounds like they offered her a role with the company, being able to be like a W-2 employee with them, probably gave her the opportunity to really push her career forward. So it sounded like Adidas gave her a pretty big opportunity, like contract wise, but not so much on that employee front. So it sounds like she's going to be kind of like an athlete employee for Hoka, which would be kind of cool. And it sounds like that's becoming kind of a normal thing. I mean, the winner of UTMB was a Hoka employee, now turned Hoka athlete. So it's like, I feel like that's kind of like intertwining, and I think that's going to be, I really like to see that direction go more, like we spoke with about Andy Wacker too. A lot of these athletes that have been in the sport and just have such, great knowledge and do such good stuff, especially on like the media side of things, like give them a chance. I think that they have a lot to offer to brands, and I hope brands start to recognize that more. And it's awesome to see that Hoka recognize that, and to take this in like a different direction too. If you look at other sports and what people do, post sport or post their prime and stuff like that, a lot of them are getting into media now. Like you look at SportsCenter, and you look at like FS1 and all these other media conglomerates, they are signing athletes, and a lot of them are very much athlete focused now. And I hope that this sport can get there. And I hope, that maybe older athletes that are maybe on their way out start thinking about that, and maybe start building relationships with brands to maybe get to a point of that, or with these new medias that are blowing up with, get some more people help out Finn on single track. Maybe single track will end up, becoming this big thing, or free trail and stuff. Free trail already has a couple different podcasts with other athletes, which I think is awesome.
Thanks for the shout out, Nick.
And I hope Steep Stuff can get to, and I know it will get to a spot where it can be like that as well. There's a big future in all this, and I hope that athletes see the future in it. Because we can be up there with all the other sports as well.
Oh, 100%. And we're getting there. So like, I don't know. I follow a ton of sports just like you do. You're an NFL guy, an NBA guy. Mm-hmm. I am the same, as well as a college football guy, but I also really like fighting. I draw a lot of parallels between, I don't know if it's the violence, I don't know what it is, but I draw a lot of parallels between like that game and sport in some ways. And like, there's this guy, Chael Sonnen. I don't know if you Uncle Chael is. I love Uncle Chael. Funny dude. But like, I find it so bizarre and interesting that like, there's not more media surrounding the discussion of athletes in the sport. So like, for instance, like we're doing this free agency discussion, right? And people are going to find this somewhat bizarre. Like, you're talking about all these people, but at the same time, like there's whole industries built upon like talking about free agency moves in other sports. And like, you see free trial even now, like Dylan will put out a reel like, oh, this person's moved or this person's gone to this team, and the Brooks signing was a big thing. And I think there needs to be more discussion around that type of movement as we professionalize it. And even like guys and gals like calling each other out, and like, like rivalries in the sport. There's all these different things that you can build like drama lines around to discuss. And I think it's kind of fun, right? Like it's more, I don't know. To me, I see it as more of the future, along with the personalized storytelling around like video and media. But like, I don't know, the days of just doing a podcast and just having a one-on-one conversation, it's like, yeah, that was very 2016. Like what else can I add to you? Exactly. Like to like make it, more of a thing and help tell these stories better. Right.
Yep. No, I think we're headed in the right direction. It just takes time.
One more thing on the Terex to get back to that. Like, so now with Tom gone and going to ASICS, like my guess is they're going to be banking on like Dan Jones and Tony McCann to be like their superstars, as well as Eli and Tabor. All superstars in the making. Like Tony McCann is like, yo, and Dan Jones is well on his way. He could very well go win Western States this year, dude. You could see Eli go back to back at OCC very well, these athletes are incredible. So it's going to be interesting to see like what their next big superstars are with Tom departing, because Tom's that gym level guy, right?
Right. I kind of expected after Tom, ASICS to, I thought that was kind of going to be their big one, and then they were going to roll out a bunch of athletes behind there. I haven't seen any. I'm sure there's more on the Euro side that maybe we aren't aware of, but I feel like they're quietly building something. So we'll have to see. Because I don't know do you know where ASICS is based out of?
I have no idea. It could be France. It usually seems like all the brands are now, but like I could be totally wrong. Okay. Could be a German company. I'm not sure. And they've got some great, like their team is pretty legit. They had Stian, let him go, which that's a whole nother conversation on its own, right? I'm curious to see if Stian, after coming back this season, is able to like rebuild a name, maybe re-sign. I don't know.
So. I'm cheering for him.
Yeah.
No.
I think so too. I don't know. I've got a very strong feeling about anti-doping, but like the man did clear his name.
Yeah, no, I think
so. Yeah, you got to have, you got to let him race and see what happens.
I wish that process would have been better, but it's in the past now. So
dude, he hired a big name American lawyer to get that all figured out. Yeah, like I'm sure he wasted like probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that all squared away. Which is wild, but
yeah, we have it seems like a long ways to go in that. We'll have to see, because what's his name was saying, who won Black Canyon, Seth, saying he didn't get drug tested.
Dude, it's not just him. Caleb didn't get drug tested either. What the fuck are we doing here? Like, this is like a hold no fist back podcast. Like, this is one of the few ones where you're going to catch me in rare form, but like, I gotta say, like from an anti-doping perspective, like what are we doing? Yeah. Like we need to listen, like it's not that hard to get EPO. I know it was I think it was Finn who was just talking about it, like Finn with Caleb were just talking about it on their podcast, about like just the availability of it. You can buy that shit off the internet, and like there's no drug testing. You're not following people. I guess if you can spin your own blood, which that's a dice roll. Good luck not dying with that. But like if you can do that, Yeah, you could do it. So it's just bizarre, dude.
I love that these athletes are calling it out though, especially the ones that didn't get it. Like the ones that, I mean, imagine if like they were quiet. And they were just
so Era, and this is a big like shout out to like poo to Era Vipel. Like you didn't drug test him. Like you didn't drug test any of the podium. If that's real, like, dude.
And this is a world, isn't this part of the world?
That's the World Trail Majors race. Yeah. And not only is a World Trail Majors race, dude, Transcan Canaria, same fucking thing. Like, what are we doing here?
And then in North Face, I think North Face put that on. You know, they have the money to, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know the logistics or anything or the money behind it. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could be talking out of our ass, but yeah.
Well, no. And the thing is like, so dude, I'm like on the board of Pikes. Like that's a big discussion point. Like there needs to be WADA drug testing at these things. Like,
especially with money on the line too.
Yeah.
It sounded like, yeah, there was a decent amount of money on the line at Transcan Canaria. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny. Like you'll get a lot of people that'll, you know, like, I don't know. I think if anyone wants to hear the discussion on it and wants good information, your two people to talk to are Andy Wacker and Joe Gray, because Joe Gray is one of the like most knowledgeable people. Like he only races where there is drug testing. Like he only goes, well, because that's what being the GOAT is all about, dude. You know, like that's, yeah, he only does those things where there's going to be, and he says, he's like, I win just as much, if not more prize money going to those races than any other. Right. So I hope that, you know, they're able to, I would imagine Sunapee and our world selection races are going to have drug testing. I'm sure Tom Hooper and Brandon Madigan, whoever is over at Broken Arrow, has that in place. Dude, I think the first time I ever met Eli and Tabor was Eli got pulled right after Broken Arrow, after he won the 23K. It was like a few years ago, and he was getting tested. So I know Broken Arrow does testing. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to hear though, that those two athletes in particular were not tested, and yeah, wild. Okay, so back to free agency. I'm curious to see on the male side who stuck out to you the most, who is still hasn't been picked up yet. I guess you could call it the hottest male free agents on the market right now.
Hottest male. I'd say it's just popping out to me right here when I'm looking at the list. On the female side would be that.
Yeah, you can go female.
Madalena Floria.
Done.
I don't understand that. Like that's a pretty much guaranteed top 5, if not or top 10, if not top 5 in Golden Trail, like automatically, like your brand is going to be everywhere with her.
So I reached out to her for comment and didn't get anything back. So my curiosity is either, you got to remember too, with these conversations, there's also a lot of non-disclosure agreements. So athletes can only say so much. Athletes obviously talk amongst themselves, but like, it's like one of those things where I wonder if there was an offer in place and maybe she thought she could get more, like maybe that she was offered like league minimum, something like that. And was like, oh, well, I think I could do better. Like I'm top of the Golden Trail World Series. Like I'm racing at an extremely high level. She's a huge name in Europe. Yep. I would expect her to go, like, I'm surprised like Brooks didn't go get her, or like Hoka. Like she's a great fit for
I
all
thought Hoka would have been perfect. Yeah.
100%. So, and maybe that's still in the mix. Like I said, I don't know her personally. There's a lot of people in the sport, so I'm not entirely sure, but I think that that's an athlete that should have been picked up big time and should have gone somewhere. I do see also that like Henrietta Albon, John's partner, has departed Arc'teryx and has not re-signed with another brand. I don't know if that's just, maybe it's floating in negotiations there, because I don't know. I can't speak too much to it, but I do know like some of the folks internally on the Arc'teryx side, and like, I don't know, they're amazing people and they want to continue to build that team. So I don't know what that looks like.
Jade Belsberg?
Jade Belsberg. I thought Jade resigned, or no?
Did she? Hasn't been updated yet.
No, she left Topo. Yeah, no, you're right. So maybe that's in process as well. I did not reach out to her for comment, so I'm not entirely sure. So there's a lot of like really strong women that still have not been picked up. Jade Belsberg is a huge name. Menafalina. Sabrina, I know Sabrina Stanley has a new, and this is ultra, but like has a new sponsor in place. Like I have speculated as to like who it could be. So Sabrina's an interesting, like, so the people she follows are interesting on Instagram. Like, doesn't follow Terex anymore. Only follows some of those teammates, but like only follows 2 brands, and one of them is Satisfy and one of them is Njinji. So we'll see if one of those turns out to be it. I don't know.
Do you know?
I have way too much time on my hands to look at those things.
Do you know anything about her falling out with Terex at all, or was it just an end of a contract?
I'm sure it was amicable. I don't know.
I just feel like that was a really good fit.
And probably a great contract. I'm kind of surprised there. I don't know. I can't speak to it. I don't know her personally, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know.
But yeah, as for the men's side, I know we spoke earlier, Darren Thomas. Very surprised that he has not been picked up.
Let's talk about Darren. So Darren just ran Black Canyon. He dabbles between, I think he's a little more ultra curious now. I think he's doing some more long stuff. We just had him out. He was on the podcast. He came out to do Pikes, the marathon, where he's had amazing history with. I think he still ran himself into the top 5 or top 10 in the race. And I think the only reason his performance was not to his satisfaction was probably because they drastically altered the race within the last hour that the race was supposed to, or 2 hours that the race was supposed to take place. Like it was cut down from, it became a glorified bar trail mountain race more or less. And I think from most of the athletes I had spoken to there, it's just like a mental switch. Like you're expecting to race 26, 27 miles. And when it's cut in half and it's a much faster race too, it completely changes the dynamic of what's going to happen up front. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I think Darren still has his best days in front of him. I think it's also, Darren's an interesting cat, man. Like he's, he just started working full time. Like he just finished his master's degree in geology, starts working full time. He's got a big boy job now, over the last few years. And it's okay, I'm a professional athlete. So I got to train to that level and be at that level, but also I got to provide for my family. I got to work. I got to have, it's not easy to be at the top of the sport. And as gifted as Darren is, it's not easy to be able to do both things. So, my only hope is that he can land at the right place to be able to give him enough support to not have to work that job. And so he can go be the world-class Darren that Darren is. I can't speak for him because I don't know if that's what he wants. But as a giant fan of Darren Thomas, I would love to see him kind of land in a place where he's going to be able to have those resources. He even said to me, we were talking about OCC when he came on the podcast, and he's like, dude, it's an arms race. It has changed the game. The tip of the spear is if you're not full time, it is really hard to compete. You can't do it. And he's right. You need you need that support. And that's why, I know sometimes I'm extremely pro athlete, but the brand has its place, these things are really important where you're going to be able to have the support to go travel. You're going to have the support to find a place to stay, team houses, nutritionists, all these different things that come into play, that people don't think about, and that's the little part that makes a huge difference. So yeah, I don't know. I think that I would be really furious if no one goes and makes him an offer. Come on, dude. That's one of the hottest free agents on the market right now. Go get yourself a Darren Thomas. If you're not blowing up his DMs or ringing, giving him a ring, what are you doing? So yeah, I'll get off my soapbox there. The other one was Andy, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Yep, we mentioned it.
I'm surprised as far as, him not, him still being a free agent, but maybe that's by choice. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think of who else. All right. While we're on that topic, so Free Trail missed quite a few athletes that are not in the listings for free agency, both on the men's and women's side. Some people are free agents. Some people have signed. A big one that I want to talk about is Erin Tunn, our friend. Erin's an amazing person, just departed. She was a teammate of mine at Sportivas, just departed Sportiva to go to Teva. And they're a sandal brand that have some really cool things in the pipeline. It seems like some really cool different shoes that they're working on. And I know Erin now is going to have that full-time ability to be a full-time athlete, to be able to pursue those big things in the mountains that she wants to do. So big shout out to Erin. That's a huge deal. I love seeing that non-traditional athletes are able to make it, right? Erin doesn't race that much. It's more on her end. It's redefining what it means for women on the FKT side. Her FKTs are crazy. Dude, I think she has the most FKTs of anybody in the world, women wise. It's crazy. Yeah. Top 5 for men and women.
Yep.
So, and she's only getting started from what it seems like. So with that, it's cool to see that she can make it in the sport, someone like her without having to go race every weekend or, whatever. So, yeah,
I'm curious how that relationship ended up, forming, if it was her reaching out or them reaching out, but it's cool that a brand that, we haven't really seen in this space, took a chance on somebody. I don't know if it's much of a chance. You know what you're getting with her. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to talk about Okay, so some other women signings that I need to shout out for the Sportiva team that were not in Free Trail. Jane Moss just ended up on there. She's coming on the podcast on Friday, which I'm really excited to have a conversation with her, a teammate of mine. Meg Cook, Sportiva, who's on the run and ski team. Big shout out to Meg. Anna Demonte, who is popular on the ski and run side as well. I believe she's La Sportiva run and ski team.
Wow, La Sportiva's.
Yeah, we're picking it up, dude. And we're making some solid women signings. That's what I want to see is like our women's team is getting bolstered, which is awesome. Along with, and you know, I think, what do we have? Kelly Wolf as well. Like we've got some really strong women on the team. So hopefully we can continue to recruit more and get some killers on there. Love to see this. Okay, so the big one. I just had him on the podcast on Friday. He just came out yesterday. Kyle Richardson. I can't tell you how much of a fan I am because I'm such a fan. Like, what a good dude. And he falls right into that category of like world-class talent, can race his ass off if he wanted to. And he's a legend in Boulder. I mean, you could talk about it. Like, we talk about it all the time. Like, this guy is like, I'm so happy we finally had him on. Had a following, like he parted ways with Black Diamond back at the end of 2024 and is a free agent right now. I mean, you know, I'll let you say what you're going to say on it, and then I've got a rant. So I'm excited for my rant.
Yeah, I don't think people, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this is like the Boulder bubble, Colorado Front Range talking here, but like, I don't think people understand like the pull and like the influence that he has had on like so many people in the past 5-6 years. For a brand not to sign him, it's I don't know. It's unfortunate. It needs to happen because whoever it is, just know that you're going to be getting someone that, like, I don't know, just has such an integral history in running on the Front Range here in Colorado and has such an impact on everybody. And like, if Kyle is like wearing something, like people are going to like wear that in a sense, like he has that type of pull on the community. So I know we mentioned Arc'teryx would be like an absolutely incredible fit. We'll see. I mean, he's a pinnacle, like pure mountain athlete, mountain runner. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, dude. So here we go. Yeah. Uncle James is going to put this one together. I'm telling you right now, Adam Campbell, if you're listening to this, let's get you two together. This deal needs to happen. I would love to see Kyle Richardson on the Arc'teryx team. I think that's the most logical next fit for him. He's a pure mountain athlete. He can race his ass off as well. He's got some big plans. He wants to go to Zagama. He wants to do these big races.
And as well as what he mentioned when I listened to your podcast with him, it sounded like he worked side by side with BD quite a bit on the equipment side of things. So it's like you're getting someone that like has that experience. Like if you were to like look on a resume and be like, wow, this guy has been with this company this long and he's developed all this different equipment and has like perfected it, and everybody knows like how good some of those BD products were that he probably had a say in, and I'm sure Arc'teryx could use that. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they have everyone they need. I have no idea. But having his,
they're growing. They're trying to grow.
Yeah. But no, having his input, I don't think that's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Like I said, I think that if there's any logical fit from like what is it? The crystal ball now in college football, they crystal ball someone if they want to transfer.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I don't know. I just find it like if I'm crystal balling Kyle Richardson anywhere, it's going to Arc'teryx. Like it's such a natural fit. Like I don't know why that wouldn't make. Like, I don't know. The reason is because like, and this is no shade against Black Diamond, but we talked about this in our podcast episode that we had done, that like Black Diamond was really big on the scene with the distance, their whole distance line. Incredible. They were making some incredible products and kind of pulled it back, maybe less investment there. And like at one point in time, like they could have competed with Arc'teryx.
Oh yeah.
And we're competing.
There was rumors that they were going into the shoe market. And
yeah. That's, dude, I don't know if everybody remembers, but like Mike Ambrose was brought on. He only was there for a year, but Mike Ambrose was brought on to Black Diamond to go develop the shoe situation.
And now where is he
and then
now?
left.
And now look at what happened. So you can see.
Yeah. So yeah, you can draw your own conclusions on their people, but like, and this is no shit against Black Diamond, whatever they want to do in their space, it's fine. I think at one point in time, they like had some serious potential. But now that Arc'teryx has grown, they have some Did you see the new shoes they're just coming out with?
Arc'teryx's shoes? Mm-mm.
Oh, dude. Yeah, some great new shoes are coming out with like a whole new technical mountain running line. Like to me, that's if I'm crystal balling somebody, it's Kyle Richardson to Arc'teryx. Like, let's speak that into existence. I think that would be sweet. So
perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure who's ever listening to this is probably laughing right now, including Adam Campbell. But that said, yeah. All right. So let's get into a few more. I do want to talk about Fred Tranchard, French athlete, left Merrill and he left Scott to go to Merrill. I know Merrill has been heavily investing now, and now they got like a big name. I think as far as like the Golden Trail Series side, because they had Remy Leroux. Leroux left. He went to obviously went to Brooks on the Euro side. It was on, Anthony Felber as well to Brooks. So it's interesting that now like Merrill's got their guy on that. I wonder if they're going to kind of develop him into their next like big superstar on the Merrill side, like for the
Merrill's
Euros.
Kind of all in. I mean, they're like the lead sponsor of Sky Running Series.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
So they'll probably that's their guy.
Their shoe line right now is like pretty top tier. Of what I'm seeing. Yeah, they have a bright future, I think. I don't know as much on the U.S. side. How many U.S. athletes? I know they have like Morgan Elliott.
Mercedes.
But I think on the Euro side, they're pretty stacked. It's again, because more of that sky running. But yeah, they're another brand. They're another one. They're up and coming for sure. I love to see it.
So Norda made 2 signings as well. Ethan Peters, who I'm not too aware of, as well as Anna Tarasova. Do you familiar with either of those names?
I want to say they're ultra, definitely.
I would say probably ultra as well. Yeah. So it's like I'm gonna put this out to the world as well. Like Jason Schlarb, if you're listening to this, like, yo, Norda, like get some sub ultra athletes. Like really get them rocking the 002s or the 005s.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's an investment to make right there into the sub ultra side. Like. It'd be cool for that. So some brands that were not listed, like I was surprised. Obviously, Osley made their big signing with Ali. I didn't see anything in Saucony. Saucony didn't really make any signings right now, which is surprising. So it goes to show me that like they might be divesting a little bit on the trail space. Asics made 2 signings as well. They probably, Jesus Christ, threw the bag at Tom Evans. So that's probably their entire marketing budget for the year.
Not much movement on the Nike side of things, it seemed.
No, like. Nike got Gabrielle LaSalle, who left from Salomon. I think it's a Euro athlete.
But I think they have like a net negative. Like I think they got rid of more than Nike did. They got. Yeah. So
yeah. Dude, who I really would love to see kind of come back onto the scene and like had the ability from the sub ultra side is Matt Daniels. You knew exactly where I was going with that. Yeah. Big Matt Daniels fan, Boulder boy. And he's just like, dude, you're talking sub 4 miler. Like he's so fast. And even like, Joe, after spending time with Joe, like Joe is like gives out compliments occasionally. And like one of the compliments I have heard him throw out is he gave some kudos to Matt Daniels of having like true potential. Could have been really good on the sub ultra side. But, I don't know. Maybe he'll come back. We'll see. He could still compete. He's old now. I mean, he's what? 30s, so we'll see. I don't know. I don't know. He's got time. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Anybody do you think we missed? What about VJ, dude? I saw they got this Anders Karavik dude.
Yeah, I came from Salomon.
Totally unfamiliar with. But I would like to see VJ because VJ's shoes are legit, man.
Oh, yeah.
We were just talking about their shoes. Some notable stuff there. But small brand still, you know, small.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised still they haven't dipped their toes in the sub ultra.
I'm surprised Cordis Hall didn't like try and make moves to come back or do something new. He left.
I imagine they re-signed his wife.
Yes.
Abby.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting as well. I don't know. I mean, dude, maybe some people are just ready for that extra time in their life and don't want to do it anymore. No. I get it. The only one that stands out to me too, that's more ultra focused, and I think warrants a conversation, was Devin Yanko with Lululemon. I'd be curious to kind of get your perspective on that. And this is like not bashing anything. There's none of that here. It's more so just like her side of the story was like kind of very upsetting. Like it was kind of very frustrating.
Can you remind me what she's?
I can send you the Instagram. I could even read the Instagram post if you want. But it was along the lines of like she just had kind of a long-term deal there, and it was kind of cut short.
So yeah, I think maybe Maybe Lulu didn't quite know what they were getting themselves into when they like started this whole thing, and they did that whole like was this really all just for like that big project, that distance project thing that they did last year, and then it was just like, we're gonna see what it's like, and we're gonna get a bunch of data from that or whatever, and then we're done now or whatever. I don't know. It seems like their team has shrunk.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What I find interesting is they did extend, and that was publicly made. Leo Lingling.
Yingling. Yep.
Was extended. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what went into that.
Camille had her falling out.
Yeah, Camille had her issues, and that's no longer a thing. And yeah, now they got rid of Devin. So it's like they have really thinned out the herd. Yeah. And so it seems like maybe they only have actually like one true like runner, if you will, at this point.
So much money.
Yeah, they do.
So much
that is
money.
Dude, they have stupid money. Yeah, like, come on. So I guess it's safe to say, because it's been, the term transient has been used and thrown around a lot, and I don't know. Maybe that's true to say. Like, it'd be interesting to see. Like, maybe transient is a different thing. Maybe they just want it back. Because the distance project was all, from what I understand, was Camille's idea. From what public information divulges. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I just feel bad for Devin, because Devin's a really good person, and I know she's a huge part of that community out in Salida and like 7,000 Foot Running Co. And like, you know, it was just a very pull at your heartstrings kind of post, because like, you know, like she's one of those people that, you know, like I said before, like when you have these partnerships, you rely on, it's the help to get you to these places and do these things and train like a professional. It's a lot of work, dude. And having those partnerships, I'm sure Lululemon, like, to lose that income and lose those things, like, really sucks, dude.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And they, like, just launched shoes at, like, the same kind of time now.
Have you heard anything about their shoes? Like,
I've heard some people say some pretty good things.
Does the girlfriend use them? Does anybody use them? No. Right, Rose didn't try them either. Yeah, we're a Sportiva household here.
One thing I wanted just to like throw out there too. Do you think we could maybe start seeing more athletes kind of choose a more freedom-based kind of like alley, where they pick a brand that maybe is more, I don't know, like just equipment and like clothes centric and so they have like the freedom of shoes. Like I'm seeing some people on here like Casey Lichtai just signed to just Rabbit, and then there was another one. Blanking on the name, but just signed to.
But yeah, Ali with Ostley,
John G as well, and then Satisfy. I mean, I think they're gonna end up having shoes at some point. But just like
coming out this year.
Yep. But again, like just these brands that are just mainly just clothes. Yeah, I don't know. That could be something. I don't know. See.
Dude, I really agree with you. I think there's something. It's a superpower a little bit when you have the ability to use whatever shoe you want. And the reason I say that is because like yes, I'm a Sportiva athlete, but like they don't make road shoes. So I just started dabbling with like some Saucony road shoes, and I was like, holy shit. Like these are pretty dope. Like what do we got here? And yeah, I was like, you know, having that ability to have like, you know, I mean, obviously mine's a little bit different case where it's, you know, freedom on the roads, but like, but if you're in Hoka, like you got to race in Hoka's, baby, one way or another. You pick, you know, your road and trail. So yeah, I think there's something to that. And just I think the apparel situation too, kind of alleviates pressure where you can race in any shoes you want. And I would imagine, obviously, if it's not a shoe, you're probably getting paid less. But like with getting paid less means there's less to do, like less, how do I say this? Like maybe your commitments are a little bit different, right? Like maybe to a lesser extent.
Sure.
Maybe more. I don't know. J&G, Kayla Rose Mayer has them doing like all kinds of really fun shit with J&G. Like they're going all over the place and doing these shoots out and like, what are they? They were just in like, what was it? What's that country next to Algeria, where Al Hussein was from? Morocco. There you go. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, dude. They went to, I think it was Morocco. They were somewhere. Cool. Yeah, and it was like a cool group of athletes that went out there and did it. So like, dude, I would love to go shoot on location just to look good in some running tights and just get my photo taken. That'd be dope. But yeah, I think there's less pressure in some degree when it's just like, you know, it's just an apparel thing. You know, you can wear whatever shoes you want. And I think, I don't know, I've never struggled with this, but I do know athletes that do. Some shoes just don't work for people, man. I know in the early days with the North Face, before they came out with all these amazing super shoes, like the North Face shoes, I mean, that was pretty much the reason Hillary Allen left to go to Brooks, was because she just couldn't wear the North Face shoes, which is a bummer because like that's a first ballot Hall of Famer right there. And you're letting her go, she's got a book, she's like a huge name in the sport. So to let her go, over something so dumb, I don't know. But at the end of the day, like, I understand the brand's perspective too. Like if you're the brand, you want them to wear your shoes. I don't know. I think you hit a good point there. What else? What do you think we missed?
One other thing too, again, more on the ultra, I guess, side of things, but she's a local, so I want to shout her out. And she was a free agent as well, Allison Baca.
Yeah. I thought she went to Hoka.
She was a free agent and then went to Hoka. Yeah. So I think, and she just won Black Canyon 50K.
I think she's coached by Eli and Tabor too.
Yep, I believe so. Yep. And I think that she's probably going to end up having a spot on the Worlds team, would be my guess. I think it's going to be a massive year for her. I'm super excited for her. Cheering for her. She's awesome. Another one too that I wanted to mention, again, on the maybe more ultra side of things, I'm glad that Hoka finally actually like fully signed, not just like Jim's partner or whatever. But I'm excited that Jess is with Hoka. That's gonna be really cool because she crushed it last year at
we called it, dude. Broken Arrow at the VK.
Broken Arrow, yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I wonder if she's gonna come back. I know she signed up for the VK and the 46K this year at Broken Arrow. Yeah, dude, it's hard for me to actually pronunciate and put into words like how competitive Broken Arrow is going to be this year. Like, that's a crazy weekend, dude. Like, probably the biggest weekend of our sport.
Yeah,
like 100%. Ever.
Yep.
With Golden Trail, I've talked about this on a few podcasts now. I'm so curious. I've had some people tell me, nah, I don't think so. But I really think we get Remy Bonnet in the Broken Arrow VK, and I think we get Remy. We get maybe Anthony Felber, maybe a few guys that come over. I think you might even get a Roberto De Lorenzi to mix it up. I know a few guys that were in town, I don't know, who's John Album's training partner? Petter was like mixed it up. But Petter's not like, he's a great athlete. He's world class, but like he's not, an amazing uphill athlete. So like on the Golden Trail circuit. So it's going to be really interesting to see if someone, because you got to remember the VK is on Friday. Yep. The Golden Trail race is on Sunday, dude. Oh, yeah. You got a day to
Remy
recover
will do
there.
it. I put 100% he's going
all right.
to
So
this
brings this crazy thing up here. So now we get the rematch between Patrick, Joe, and Remy. And the stakes are high. The stakes are higher than they've ever been. I mean, I get it. Like maybe the stakes were a little higher at Pikes because it's like Joe's local mountain, and like Joe's won the race now 5 times. But it's like, dude, like.
But with this field,
what happens? It's going to be so great. And then on the women's side, dude, like all these just absolute crushers. Like is just Joyce and Nauru just completely wipe the floor with the ladies, or does like Allie Mack take the dub and beat Joyce, like, which is totally possible. Allie's a monster.
Or Anna Gibson. I mean, she's
Anna Gibson as well.
I mean,
Yeah, I know I talk about this literally every podcast, like a broken record, but I am so excited for Broken Arrow this year. And Sunapee is going to be good too, but like Broken Arrow, just with that whole grouping of just so many races, that it's probably the biggest weekend of our sport. Like I think it's going to be hard for Western states to top. I mean, obviously it's going to be like the most like legit competitive Western states ever with Killian in town. What if Killian comes and does the VK, dude? Like,
that'd be so
is that even possible? Like,
I think that's definitely possible. Yeah, because it's what 2 weekends before.
Yeah.
Western.
And then will Jim ever, do you think Jim,
before?
Yeah, it's the weekend before. And does Jim ever break the curse? Like, because Jim's never beaten Killian, I don't think. It's never happened. Oh, man. And could you imagine if Killian shows? So here's the thing. My take on Jim, I think he'll do good at the VK. I think he's not going to get second like he did last year. And the reason I say that is just because like he doesn't, this is a USATF race. There's no wizard sticks. So you can't, wizard stick your way to the finish line, but Jim's still top 5, easy, top 10.
And, yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that he wasn't focused on like Western states last year, but I feel like this year, like just with that competition and like you're going to be making a true statement by winning it this year, that maybe he won't even show up there and he'll just be like, I am strictly focused on, I'm not trying to make any statements. I'm trying to make a statement at Western, and I'm all in on that.
Well, the thing with Jim is like off of resume alone, I can't speak too much to this, but like I know obviously he's applying resume wise, like come on, why wouldn't he for the long trail? It's just interesting to me that he would be signed up for like the VK again. I know it's very Euro of him, but like he could get into the like on it. So Jim's so good at climbing that like he could get in off a resume spot, which I'm surprised Joe is gonna like go to Broken Arrow to go like that's just gonna show you what a fucking dog, dude. Like what a beast he is. Like to go to Broken Arrow, beat all these young whippersnappers, which he's probably gonna do. He might not beat Remy and he might not beat like Patrick, but he's what American's going to challenge him, dude? Like, I don't like Dan Kurtz is possible. Dan Kurtz is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I don't know if Dan Kurtz is going Remy Leroux, but he's a Canadian.
Yep.
So it's like, all right, who's going to challenge Joe for up front? I don't see it. Like, I don't see it happening, dude. Unless Father Time got him in the last 6 months that I haven't seen him. But like, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be great. All right, I'm done rambling. You got anything else to add?
No, I think we hit it all.
Dude, this was a great episode,
Yeah,
man.
this was fun.
Listen, wishing you the best of luck. We'll have you on again, obviously, whenever you want. It's your microphone too. So
Heck yeah.
I like these little free agency episodes, and I'm glad we were able to do this, man.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, bro.
Well, what'd you guys think? Oh, man. Well, what a fun episode. Lots of hot takes there, lots of banter, lots of conversation, lots of speculation, all kinds of good stuff, the juicy stuff, if you will. It's always fun to have these conversations around the sport. I feel like we don't have enough of them, talking about things like free agency, who's moving to one brand or another, who's getting dropped, what is this, what is that. It's fun conversation. I think it's something that we need more of in the sport. I love doing the one-on-one interviews. I think there's a time and a place for that, but I think there's definitely a lot more opportunity to have some of these conversations around just the trail talk, the inside baseball, who's moving where, who's doing what, who's training with who's got beef with who, and who's going to what brand and leaving the others. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool stuff. I definitely really enjoy these conversations. If you happen to have any strong opinions or comments, send them to my DMs. I'd love to chat with you. I think there's always room in the sport for disagreement and conversation, and I'd be happy to address questions, concerns, and whatnot, and hopefully have some meaningful conversation there. Like I said, I hope you guys got some value out of this one. These are always so much fun. So moving on, if you guys did enjoy this one, I first of all want to say thank you so much for tuning in. That means the absolute world to me. If you did enjoy it, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple and Spotify or YouTube, wherever you do consume your podcast. Moving on from that, I do want to invite you guys, if you happen to be on the Front Range. I know I sound like a broken record because we're putting out the bat signal for this one, but if you guys are on the Front Range in Boulder, Colorado Springs, wherever, I'd love to personally, from the bottom of my heart, just invite you guys to our 1-year birthday bash. That's going to be taking place Saturday, March 29th at the Colorado Running Company in Colorado Springs. Do check that out if you guys have some interest. We've got lots of brands showing up to do giveaways. We're going to be doing some demos. Ultimate Direction will be there providing refreshments, as well as doing product demos to show you guys some of the new race and ultra vests that are dropping this month, which are sick. We're going to be doing a group run, and then followed up by a live podcast with a special guest who is yet to be named. Hopefully going to be able to put that out in Saturday or Friday's episode, who that person's going to be, as we are nearing the finish line on that. Appreciate it, guys. Very, very last but not least, use code SteepStuffPod on ultimatedirection.com to get yourself 25% off any hydration solutions that you might need. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a wild one.